So the department publishes regulatory proposals online at regulations.gov, and the public can then submit comments on those proposals. Now, for a single rule, these comments can number in the tens of thousands, and each comment can be dozens of pages long. So the agencies are then tasked with processing those comments. This is a process that for one rule can take, for example, over 1,000 hours just to get it to the right subject matter experts before you even start addressing the substance of the comments. This is a process flowchart of what one office in CMS currently does to get the comments to the right subject matter experts. As you can see, it's very complex, it's burdensome for the agency staff. At points, there are even duplicative processes. You have the agency staff looking at the comments, and then you also have contractors doing the whole thing. So really complicated, really burdensome. So in our project, we looked at, could we use natural language processing as software to automate this process? We used the Content Analyst Analytical Technology Tool, also known as CAT. And our goal was to go from this complicated process to something as simple as this. We examined two past sample regulatory proposals. One was a CMS rule that had about 1,300 comments, and the other was a CDC request for information that had just a little bit over half that much. And we used two different functions of the CAT tool. There's a user-defined method, and that's a very nuanced way where you can feed the software or the brain with the related sample documents and basically define the categories up front and then feed the comments through, and the software will run the categorization for you. Then we also have another method, which is the auto-categorization, and without any kind of user input needed, it just automatically creates the categories and filters the comments into those categories. This is a sample of what it might look like once you had it in the agency's document management system. You've got on the left there the categories that the tool would create, and on the right is the document that was submitted, the comment, with some highlighting of the relevant language. So basically, to see whether our tool was successful, we looked at main things such as, would it save time? Would it save money? Is it accurate? Would it get the comments to the right category and to the right subject matter experts? And also, would staff like using it? And we were able to find success on all three counts. We found significant time savings for the categorization. To just create the categories, we went from 42 hours down to just 3 with a user-defined, and then to 15 minutes with the AutoCat tool. Similarly, we would go from 1,000 hours with the manual to get it to the right subject matter experts down to 600 with the AutoCat, and then just under 400 with the user-defined. The accuracy rates of categorization range from about 40 to 80 on the AutoCat and 50 to 60 on the user-defined method. We project that we would be able to save more than 300,000 hours a year just for CMS alone. That's equal to 152 FTEs. And agency staff were really excited about this tool. They said, had we had this up front, it would have saved us time, it was user-friendly, and it found nuances that they didn't even look at before. And we think that overall, again, just for one agency such as CMS, for 1 year, we could save anywhere from $15.5 million to $62 million for 1 year. This number is based on whether you're just looking at agency staff resources or contractor staff, so it will be somewhere in between. So for next steps, we're asking for senior leadership support to integrate the tool as an optional feature in the federal document management system for all federal agencies. The cost to integrate this into the system would be anywhere from $54,000 to $72,000 for the auto-categorization feature, or the user-defined feature would be about $75,000 to $95,000. And we'd like to use lean startup methodology, so we'd put out this minimum viable product of this CAT tool, and as agencies are using it, we'd get feedback that we could build into future iterations. Questions?
This is the one for me.
Is it? Oh, okay. You jump right in there then.
This is the one that says, yeah, how can we get some of this? I mean, again, you look at the efficiencies there. Actually, I had one question. You talk about the efficiencies in there. Do you consider those efficiencies fixed at this point, or is there a tweaking that could take place? You know, we go from 39 to 61, and you're already getting great efficiency numbers. And then the question is there something in the tool that can be refined, or through training, for instance, on the individual? I assume if we did a better job as humans with our categorization, then we'd get higher than the individual. We could improve our own performance there.
Yes, so right now, yeah, it's still in, we have definitely improved the efficiency, as you said. Even if right now your accuracy rate is 60, 70%, that means that you've basically saved 60 or 70% of that time, and then you can just add more, and then you can also, to your second part of your question, as you help the tool, as you provide more examples, so if you feed it prior rules on the same topic, it gets more smart, and it can better categorize the comments. So it's both, and I think it has definitely increased efficiency already.
Great, thank you.
I wanted to sort of commend you on this presentation, because I really like the fact that you developed and incorporated the appropriate metrics and measures in here to actually measure the success of your efforts. I think that's very important. Quick follow-up question to that. These efficiency metrics, have you given any indication to linking them to specific sort of outcomes? What sort of outcomes do you envision in the long term for this kind of project?
So the outcomes besides, you mean time savings and money, I think just, again, you'd be able to devote staff to where these are subject matter experts that are working on it. It can be the rule writers. So you'd really be, I think, spending time where time is worth. So answering the public's comments, really focusing on the substance as opposed to the process of sorting and that portion. So it would really be getting the focus, the staff time where it is best utilized.
I think the development of more informed policies, for instance, I think is one particular outcome that I think would be attributable to something like this, just based on the efficiency measures that you put together. But very well done.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, so I would just say that, like SAMHSA, HRSA is paws up for this. Yeah, and I'm just saying if you're paying attention out there. We're paws up for this because I think that the exec sec had something to do with informing this process, and I would like to see HRSA continue to be able to get their regs reviewed in a timely fashion through the exec sec process. So we're very supportive of this. Actually, the question that I've got is two-part. One, it has two parts to it. One, did you look at what other cabinet agencies were doing? Because, of course, other federal agencies outside of HHS also have this process that they have to employ. And then second, before you got into the design, so was there anything that you looked for to learn from other cabinet agencies before you started this work? And then secondly, I was interested in that, what I think in one of your earlier slides spoke to, which was auto-categorization accuracy rates. They seem to me to be a little bit low right now. So would you speak to that and tell me what that data range means? So for example, I think one of the low end of one of those ranges was about 36%. So two parts.
Okay, sure. Thank you for your question. So for other agencies, we looked at sort of the back end portion of the process, and that's when you already have the comments that have come in. I know that other agencies, like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, has looked at maybe front end, like having something up front where the public might sort their own comments. So they're sort of in that process, and that's something that we even examined as part of our project, but focused mostly on the back end. In terms of whether other agencies are doing have a tool like this, I'm not familiar with something like that. And the fact that we've been working with erules.gov, who manages this system that's for all federal agencies, means that this would be really kind of the first thing for cross federal agencies that they'd be able to use. Again, an optional tool that would cost maybe just under $100,000 to implement, and then would be saving millions of dollars across the federal government. To your second point, you asked about the accuracy range going from somewhere like 40% to 81%. So that range is looking, that was for, it's so wide because we were examining, it's really dependent on the type of regulation. So the CDC RFI was pretty straightforward. It wasn't a request for information on walking, so it was very general, whereas the CMS rule was more technical, so it had a lower rate, maybe didn't pick up quite the same nuances that it might have for the CDC rule. So that was the variation, and something we definitely look into as we work on the tool.